All right, morning everybody. All right, so we had a seriously crazy down the market yesterday. Starting the day up a few hundred points and then getting absolutely obliterated, losing almost 2,000 points I think from the top. So really manic action. A lot of stock getting heavily sold off. Even some of the more solid stocks like the banking sector and some of the insurers followed. Anglo's bellies, the whole market pretty much got wiped. In the US as well, indices fell sharply, led by energy stocks. We had oil price down quite heavily for most of the day. ExxonMobil and Chevron hardest hit. Caterpillar also declined following a downgrade by JP Morgan. In Asia, got pretty much the whole of Asia down except Shanghai up a little bit. Not as badly as Europe though. I mean, you can see most of Asia's up, down just over 1.5%. It's not quite as vicious a sell-off as in Europe and in our market. The only one that sold off more than the others was Nikkei, with down almost 3%. On sort of stock-specific stuff, we had Billiton's was sold off almost 5%, which is about in line with what London did yesterday. So I'm not going to read too much into that. But Tencent, however, is really trading well this morning. If I look right now, they're up 4%, just over 4%. And Naspers traded really well yesterday, and our market really didn't want to come off until only sort of started selling off right at the end. So expect a big bounce out of Naspers this morning. The chart of interest is showing oil demand pretty much developed markets versus undeveloped markets. You can see developing markets have been in a solid uptrend as far as oil demand goes, for most of the last 2 decades, but has really started coming off on the developed markets since the markets sort of crashed in 2008. So an interesting little chart there, just showing the divergence between developed and non-developed markets. No corporate action to speak of today. We had monetary base year on year out of Japan, which came in at 38.2%. We also had Japan Services PMI, which came out a little better than expected. We had China Services PMI also a little bit better than expected. We're expecting South Africa PMI, HSBC South Africa PMI out of SA at 9:15. And then out of the whole Eurozone, 10:55 we got Germany Services PMI, 11 o'clock we got Eurozone PMI, Services PMI. UK 11:30 Services PMI as well, and then out of the US at 4:45 as well. 5 o'clock we have factory orders and non-manufacturing composite at 5 out of the US. Alright, let's have a look at a few charts. The first one, look at Aussie. We just show the massive sell-off we had yesterday. That long red candle. We've opened up nicely this morning. We're up 223 points on the open. Probably a lot to do with what they're hoping Naspers will do. But yeah, I mean we're really getting down there to go test the lows from the last couple of months. October intraday low was at about 41,200, give or take. Let's just have a look. 41,210, and then we went and tested that level in mid-December, which is at 41,358. Yesterday's low was at 42,080. So we're getting down to test those levels again. I think we really need to put in a good day today to negate the sell-off, but definitely not going to be holding my breath. So I'm definitely not going to be giving any advice to anyone either to enter or to cut, but best be nimble, stay light-footed. This market is really volatile at the moment, and it's thin, which is dangerous. Sorry about that, just need to get the rest of my stocks. Alright, so the first stock I'm going to show is Anglo's. Anglo's going down to test the, not test, it actually closed lower than the previous low in in mid-December, so putting in a new low for a new multi-year low. The previous one was at 210 in December of 2013, and before that was around 186, and that was in mid-2013. So not much support up until that level. So as I said, with similar to the Aussie, if we don't get major reversals off very soon, we're going to be looking to test these levels again, which is at 185 on Anglo. So not looking good for them. Billies as well, very similar chart, almost identical. Taking out December's low. If we zoom out a little bit to see, we have to go further than 2 years to find out where our next level of support is. But yeah, I mean, there's a sort of a major level support here at 220. So yeah, not looking very good for these diversified miners at the moment. We look at Goldfields. Goldfields, actually the golds in general have been trading really well. Goldfields has really been pushing out of this, made a bit of a breakout and consolidation mid-December, and it's been moving high ever since. So looking pretty good here for Goldfields, closing just under 56 Rand yesterday, and I see they closed at 58.27 in the US. So expect a strong open out of Goldfields as well, and I presume the other golds will follow, given that the outperformance of the US last night. MTN also, put in a low or closing low from the recent poor trading that was done over sort of November, December. It's really struggled, this one. Even when the market was bouncing a week or two ago, really couldn't really push high above 220. It failed that level, and is now put in a new closing low, a new recent closing low. I would say a major level of support on MTN is at 190, and maybe a psychological support at 200. But unless somehow we manage to find a bit in MTN, it looks like those levels are going to be tested. Standard Bank we looked at yesterday. We were looking at this inverse head and shoulders that we broke out of a little while ago. We were hoping that it would be able to hold 141, but it failed spectacularly yesterday, along with the rest of the banking sector. The other line we will look at is this trend line, although we're getting a little bit desperate here. It's testing this level exactly today. So unless we get a nice clear reversal from this level, it looks like this pattern may have failed. And then, of course, Naspers, we spoke about it earlier with Tencent being up so much. We're expecting Naspers to push today. And we can see it technically is also looking good as well. With this 1500 level, it's been able to hold this 1500 level for the last few days. Yesterday, it definitely didn't sell off for the rest of the market as heavily as the rest of the market. Was underpinned most of the day. So we can expect a good few percent out of Naspers this morning. And then the last one I'm going to show is Famous Brands. Famous Brands, slightly more liquid than the rest, but we had a sort of a major level here around this 110 level. Tried it a few times to get through, couldn't quite get through. Got through sort of the beginning of December, first week of December. Came back and retested the 110 level, and it's pushed higher over the last couple of days. Yesterday, obviously sold it for the rest of the market, but not too hectically. So as long as we can hold this 110 level, it looks like we've got a nice I would say 15 Rand sort of to the upside from 110. So we'll call it 125 as our first target on Famous Brands. And that's all for today, guys. Best of luck trading.